Welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So we're working on the Kearney Trecker Model H, the 2HL, and what we're doing today is we're rebuilding the oil level sight glass. It's on the other side of the machine. We'll check it out in a minute. And we're making a new one and putting a new window in it and making new gaskets and a bunch of other stuff. So let's get cracking. So here's our little project for today. It's kind of a typical Ox Tools deal, multi-step thing. So this is the oil level sight glass from the Kearney Trecker, and it's not great. So I tried cleaning it gently, but the ink that was used for printing the text is kind of compromised and was coming away along with the grease, right? So I said, well, hey, that might be a fun project to go ahead and make a new one, right? So so that's what we're going to do. So we need a couple things. We need a gasket. We need this, the actual legend plate here, I'm going to call it, and then we need a cover plate. And then this, you know, we showed this one the other day, and it's busted, and it's thin plastic is what it is. So let me show you what I got to take care of this problem here. So let's put that stuff out of the way. So first, I found these. It's actually a glass sight glass, glass cover plate, and these are used in, yeah, this is a McMaster deal, right? So these are used in, you know, kind of industrial sight glasses and, you know, gauge faces and things like that, right? So, but I found some that were the correct OD. Look at that, and it's made out of Pyrex, which is really nice. Kind of scratch resistant, pretty tough material. Now the only problem is it's a little thicker, right? So we have to accommodate for that, but we'll get to that in a sec here. And then we have the legend plate, and what I got for that is this material here, and this is like ABS or something, and what it is it's for engraving. It's called engraving stock or whatever. And in this particular case, what it is it's white on the surface. Okay, what you're seeing here, this is this clear film that's on here, and then on the back side it's black. So the idea is when you engrave through this, when you cut through the white, which is pretty thin, you expose black lettering, which is kind of what we want here, right? And then so that's what we're gonna try to do there. And I've created an electronic drawing for this already, and so we're gonna cut one out and engrave it and see how it looks and see how it compares. And then the gasket. This gasket is older, probably older than I am, so and probably nearly as grouchy and crispy as me. So so we're gonna make a new gasket. But what I want to do, you know, rubber's a little difficult to work with, right? And you know, from a machining standpoint, there's some tricks you can use to do that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna make, you know, I might want more of these gaskets. I know I need at least two because I got. Or actually 3 total, because I have 3 sight glasses on the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a punch, you know, like a leather punch, right? And we're going to punch some, and that kind of looks like what they did here. Actually, it looks like it's almost too, it's weird. It's got a little line in it. Yeah, look at that. It's like 2 gaskets stacked up. Oh, it is. Look at that, son of a gun. Go figure. Okay, well, that's Interesting. Okay, well, I'm nerding out. I'm getting sidetracked there. So we're gonna make a punch to punch some gaskets. So we got a little bit of work here, and it's kind of interesting work anyway. So let's see. What should we start with? Let's start with the punch. I think we're gonna start with that. I think that's the most work here in this case. So we're gonna start with that. So here's what we're making here, and this is a cross section of the punch, and it's it's not to scale. So what we want is a cutting OD of 1.75. That's the OD of the gasket, and then the ID is 1 1/4. So we want to be kind of oriented like what we're showing here. So with these being the cutting edges here. Now we're gonna make this out of steel. We're not gonna heat treat it. We're just gonna be gentle with it when we use it. Now here's one I made a while back, and this is for cushion washers for the surface grinder. So let me dig those out of there. So I make little pads, padded washers that go on the arbor. Yes. Oh well, I guess I did. Put a hole through it. Anyway, that's the idea. So that's the cutting edge, and that's the cutting edge there. So we're going to be doing something similar, and it doesn't need a lot of depth because we're just cutting thin stuff like that. So anyway, that's what we're doing, and let's find a piece of appropriate steel and get her up in the. What can I use those for? I don't know. They're kind of cool though. Rubber washers, right? So we got some. This is 1144 stress proof. A friend of mine, Mr. John, over in Emeryville, he works at a shop where they have a lot of drops of this material, so he hooks me up. So I use it for anything I want to use, or where I need a nice steel that machines well, that I'm not going to do any welding with. You can't weld on this, or you're not recommended to weld on this. So anyway, that's the story on this. So let's get cracking on our punch here. We're going to get rid of this big chamfer that's on the front, and this stuff machines is beautifully. So that's why I like it for just straight machining projects in steel, and it's got good strength too. Let's just go for it here. deep enough. Probably all the depth we need in this case. So we're just cleaning up the OD here, so it's nice. We got a good outside surface. And that looks like it's gonna catch it. So the OD here in this situation is doesn't really play a part in the punch because the cutting edge is going to be internal to that OD. So I hope that makes sense. All right, now I got to find a trepanning bit to cut into that face. All right, so I got a trepanning bit set up, and what I want to do now is I want to calibrate this side of the cutting tool, the cutting edge here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bore into that clearance hole a little bit, and then it'll allow me to calibrate the tool accurately. So that's what I'm doing here. I don't have to go in too far, just enough to get a measurement. Like that. Should give me enough to get the this on. So, 9, 17, 27. Alright, so that should be good. Alright, now let's get ready to do our groove. Alright, so let's come out to, actually we're going to come up a little short of our finish diameter, let's say 740. The tool's skinnier than the groove. Alright, so there's 0, let me 0 that. Okay, let's go in. Let's do it here. I'm probably going to go in, I don't know, let's see how it cuts. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I need to be thicker than the gasket that we're going to cut, which is there. Keep going. See if I can get to 250 here. There's 200, that's pretty good. Let's do 200. Alright. And let me just do a quick bozo check on that. Should be about, yeah, okay. I'll buy that. Okay. Okay. Well, let's do the deed there, and then I'll calibrate I'll do this, I'll repeat the same process and calibrate the inside edge and do that too. All right, so let's just go there. Just gonna hand feed this. It should just cut very lightly on the outside only. Of that edge a little bit, come back. Okay. So there's that's our outer edge now. And then what I just thought of was I can go back to my original number and then see if I can get something on there to measure that diameter there, and then I can go ahead and just calibrate the tool from that. There. Oh yeah, okay, 1.3. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with the inner edge calibration at this point. So let's go ahead and go to our finished diameter, which is 1.25. Okay, so what's next now is those edges are way too thick, so we're gonna I'm gonna bore the idea a little bit and get down to something like 100 thousandths wall on both sides here, and then we'll put a cutting edge on that. So we're going to sharpen a 15-degree angle on this, and that's a good compromise between, you know, acuteness and sharpness and kind of durability. So let's go for it here. The inner edge first. should have drilled that hole a little deeper in the ID, although it looks like it's going to work out. We'll hand hone this once we get most of the material taken away. I think is there. And I got to be real careful here. You don't want to put a lot of finger pressure on that, because it is kind of a cutting edge now. Let's give it the old oh yeah, that'll wreck your cuticle, huh? Okay, we'll touch that up a little more, and then what I'm going to do is not even change the angle of the compound, and I'll just run it in reverse and cut the outside cutting edge on that. I think that one needs a little more. Oh yeah, that's better. All right, looks pretty good. All right, let's part this thing off. I taped this edge up in case Mr. Bozo wants to come for a visit, and then I got a rod up the middle of that too, just in case. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna zero that. Go back in my same. See how the chip break? That makes parting this stuff off pretty mellow. Famous last words, right? Alright, I'm getting close now. Alright. Just the way we like it. Eventless. How close did I get to the end? Oh, pretty good. Okay, let's give it a try here. Got some rhubarb here. This is my punching block here. And you know, I think I mentioned it pretty much every time I have to cut a gasket or something like that, is when you punch into the end grain of wood, that's really the preferred way to do it. That sounded pretty good. Yeah, looks like we got a Mr. Gasket there, yep. Alright, looks pretty good. Cutting edge still looks good. Okay, game on. Alright, so we're going to prep our engraving stock here. Now, you see it's got some curvature to it, so we want to make sure it's not down flat, and you can't just hold it like you would something normally in the vise. We got to stick this down, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the forces are really low, so we're going to use some double back tape and to hold it down. But I want to prep this, get anything off of there, let that dry, and then so we're using this this Nitto. This is the, I don't know, it used to be called Permacell, and this is some really good industrial grade double back tape. You can get it off Amazon, but it used to be called Permacell. Now Nitto took it over. And it's, I think, P02 or, yeah, P02 Permacell, Permecel. And anyway, it works really good. In fact, it works too good for stuff like this, because this is relatively fragile and we want to be able to get it loose. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put down a layer of this 3M 401, which is a rough surface. Pay attention there, Tom. Get it on there straight, because it'll just mess with my my senses there. It's a rough surface masking tape. So, and we leave a little gap in between. We don't want any overlaps, you know, that would be, you know, that would affect our engraving. So trim those off. All right. Now we'll do our Permacell kind of the same way. Gonna go ahead and stick it down. Yeah, this is, I mean, you could probably machine aluminum with this amount of this tape here, but it works good for stuff like this. The hardest part, honestly, is getting the backing off. Now, you don't need to use a gauge block. You don't need to use a gauge block to push the tape down. I just wanted something smooth and flat. This happened to be sitting there, so don't take that as gospel. And like I said, the worst part is getting this backing off here, and so that's why I kind of like to tear it off roughly, because you end up with an edge you can start to work with like that. Okay, now I'm not going to show all of them because it'll take a minute to get all these off, but we'll be back in a sec to stick this down on the platen. All right, so we're nice and clean here, and when I put this in, I just took a couple thousandths off of it so that it's perfectly aligned with the machine for engraving. And then I want to touch it with my finger. I got some little stops here, little stop screws, and then I'm just going to set it down like that. Okay. Set this down in the tape nice and tight, and you hear that there's no hollow sound underneath. It's solid, and it's down on the platen nicely, and that's exactly what we want for engraving. So then what I'm going to do is I'll probe this top surface here. Let's see. I'll probe this top surface so I know where my Z work offset should be, and I'll just zero that right there. Okay, and then I'll input that number so that my tools know where to do the job. So the next thing I got to do is I have to set a work coordinate where I want to do this job on this plate. So I'm going to leave a little overhang on the edge of the plate, and I don't know if you can see it, but I got a little center dot on the plate, or on the old lens. And what I'm going to do is just bring this over, get it close, and then, I mean, this isn't a precision alignment here, that'll be fine. So now I'm going to calibrate that as, in this case, my G54 work offset. So I'll plug that into the control here, and then my work offset. So X0 measure, okay, and then it's going to be Y0 measure, okay, and I set my Z already. So when we execute the program, it'll execute it there. And then if I don't like it and I want to make another one, I'll just scoot over here and work my way down until I until I get one that I like, I guess. All right, so let's load the program. All right, let me go send it from the laptop. Shoop, there it goes. All right, and theoretically we're ready to run here. We're going to go to memory, program, and going to ask for a tool change at this point. Okay, let's get a tool in there. All right. A little juicer. Okay, that'll work. And I always like to go slow initially. Yeah, pretty happy. Okay, it's engraving. Yeah, not much to look at, honestly. I don't want to get oil splattered all over my lens here. So this is cutting the little oil holes where the oil actually comes through.
and then it'll cut the piece out actually after this. And there it's cutting the disc out. Alright, looks pretty good. Wipe off there. Yeah, okay. Oop. So, you know, the font's a little bit different. The letters are a little thinner, but you know, this is one of those things you can screw around with for a while to get it exactly right. And I don't have a lot of choices in fonts here to work with, so I don't know. It looks pretty good. I think I'm going to pop it loose, and then we'll go put it in the port on the machine and see how it looks in there. All right, let's give this thing a try here. Pretty good. All right. Where's my gaskets? Gaskets. Oh. Let's get all that stuff in there, and then we'll align, because these will kind of hold it in place too. So good. Let's see. Good. Okay. So now the hard part. Well, I think the hard part is the glass. But what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of sealant around that. This is when you need some help here. So we're going to use this 732 RTV just around the outside of the glass, so it'll seal the glass to the machine body, right? And hopefully that'll take care of everything. Oh yeah. Whew. Old stinko. Alright. Now, very carefully here, I gotta put a little bead. I think I need a wiper down here. I got just a little, there we go, a little tiny hole coming out. So I opened this whole frickin' tube to get a little bit out. All right, let's make sure I'm happy with that alignment. And then this is gonna kind of spooge going in there. That, okay. All right, and then we need this. Okay, looks pretty good.
2 more screws. You know, we're on glass here, but it's got you know, kind of a large contact pad, so there's no you know, high pressure points, right? Okay, well, we'll let that cure, then we'll refill the gearbox and cross our fingers. Using my carefully calibrated wrist torque. Okay, what do you think? Looks pretty good, huh? I'll bring the camera down a little closer. Can't resist, can you, Tom? Nope. Sorry, Charlie. Alright, get off the horse. Okay. Alright, let's look. Okay, so there it is. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good, huh? So it'll be interesting when we get some oil in that and you know, see how it looks on the legend plate. And then we got this one down here. That one, although that's just a circulation port. There's no high or low there. It's just shows that it's circulating. So. Okay.